The African sun blazed down, turning the savanna into a shimmering furnace. A little rhino calf ambled away from his herd, drawn by a cluster of bright flowers bobbing in the hot wind. His mother, distracted by a patch of lush grass, didn't notice his departure. The calf trotted farther, captivated by the colors, oblivious to the unfamiliar terrain creeping up around him. Tall grass brushed his legs, whispering softly. Exotic birds trilled in the distance, their songs a faint echo over the endless plain. Along his path, gazelles froze mid-step, meerkats peeked warily from their burrows, and a giraffe arched its long neck to watch. Each sensed the peril of a lone calf. The air thickened suddenly, heavy with an unspoken tension. The usual hum of the savanna, chirps, rustles, and distant hooves, faded to a hush. A bird shrieked, sharp and piercing, slicing through the silence. Termites vanished into their clay towers. Rodents burrowed deeper. The calf halted, his small ears twitching. Something moved in the grass. His heart thudded. Shadows shifted, and from the bushes, lions emerged. 8 of them, sleek and muscular, their coats aglow in the sunlight. Hunger gleamed in their eyes as they fanned out, encircling him. The calf glanced around, seeking the herd's familiar bulk. Nothing but predators met his gaze. Fear surged, but beneath it, an ancient instinct flickered to life. He stiffened, legs rooting into the earth, his small body braced for a fight. The largest lioness sprang first, claws flashing. The calf whirled, thrusting his blunt horn forward. It grazed her flank, and she leapt back, startled by the defiance. Dust swirled in the afternoon glare. Sweat beaded on the calf's gray hide, his breaths quick and ragged. In the distance, antelopes stood like statues, spectators to the unfolding drama. Vultures wheeled lower, black shapes against the sky, betting on a feast. Emboldened, the calf snorted and swung his head, tracking the pride. Each time a lion edged closer, he charged, kicking up clouds of red soil. His horn, too small to wound deeply, still forced them to retreat. He stomped and huffed, sounds weaker than an adult's bellow, but fierce with intent. The lions prowled, tails twitching, their grace masking a growing frustration. The youngest, restless, shifted paw to paw, eager but clumsy beside the elder's measured steps. This wasn't their usual hunt. Young prey typically froze or fled. The calf's resistance baffled them. They lunged in turns, feints meant to exhaust him. His toughness held, but his strength waned. A young lion darted in, raking his side with a claw. Pain flared. A sharp cry burst from the calf, ripping across the savanna. Blood streaked his flank, yet he stood firm, horn lowered, refusing to yield. That cry reached his mother. She'd been searching, her massive frame crashing through acacia thorns, leaving a trail of snapped branches and trampled grass. Her gray skin gleamed with sweat, nearly black under the sun's glare. Guided by instinct, she thundered toward the sound, her heavy breaths scattering birds and lizards. The ground quaked beneath her. In the far distance, a faint hum rode the wind, too soft for her to hear, a whisper of engines stirring the haze. She burst into the scene, roaring. The lions scattered as her bulk slammed through their circle. They regrouped, circling still, probing for weakness. She shielded her calf, her horn a battering ram, while he pressed close, mirroring her stance. The pride attacked again, weaving past her charges. One lion lunged for the calf. He reacted, horn jabbing upward, striking the predator's nose. It yelped and recoiled, blood dotting the sand. The others hesitated, wary now of the tiny fighter. A new tremor rolled through the earth, deeper than before. Dust rose in a distant cloud, small birds darting from the bushes. The herd was coming. Hooves pounded, a rhythm felt in the bones of every creature nearby. Rhinos emerged, a half circle of gray giants, horns gleaming like spears. The lions froze, hunger warring with survival. Their retreat began, slow, reluctant, eyes still fixed on the prize. Then engines growled, shattering the standoff. Park rangers' jeeps rolled into view, dust trailing behind them. The drivers moved with care, avoiding sudden noise. Their faded uniforms blended with the savanna's hues, radios crackling faintly at their hips. The lions snarled but slunk away, vanishing into the grass to hunt easier prey. The jeep stopped a safe distance off. An older ranger, his face weathered by years under the sun, stepped out. He carried a worn leather bag, its edges frayed from countless emergencies. The herd huffed, shifting but calm, accustomed to these humans. The veterinarian approached, eyeing the calf's wounds. Blood matted his side, his limp slight but noticeable. The mother loomed nearby, her gaze locked on the man. He knelt, steady and unhurried, pulling bandages and a syringe from his kit. The calf flinched as antiseptic stung, but he stood still, trusting the herd's quiet acceptance. Antibiotics followed, then a gentle pat. The ranger nodded to himself, satisfied, and stepped back. The jeeps rumbled off, leaving the rhinos bathed in the glow of a sinking sun. The herd turned toward a waterhole, their silhouettes stark against the golden sky. The calf walked beside his mother, head high despite the limp. Adrenaline still pulsed in his veins, his treated wounds a badge of endurance. Flamingos swept overhead, their pink wings catching the light, their cries a wild hymn to the day's end. On that savanna, nature had woven a tale of raw courage. A lone calf, small and untested, faced death with a fighter's heart. His mother's fury turned the tide, the herd's might sealed his safety, and human hands stitched him whole. Together, they defied the odds, proving that even the youngest can stand tall when instinct and love collide.